My dear brothers and sisters of Southern Cameroon, good morning to all of you. This is your brother Jonathan Awasom. Many of you have been asking the question, about where we are, in the Southern Cameroon struggle. And I have been reading and listening to so many of you because we are talking and advocating for a referendum. And you ask the question, and to know what is the meaning of a referendum. The Cambridge English Dictionary defines a referendum as a political event that takes place within a geopolitical context where people in a given country, a given sovereign country, or in a given area, they are asked to give their opinion or decide on an important political issue or a social issue. It could be a political issue or a sociocultural issue. And then he went ahead to give an example of the referendum that took place in the United Kingdom in 2016, when the British people were asked whether they would want to leave the European community or stay with the European or remain with the European community. And that was decided through a referendum. In other words, a referendum was conducted whereby the British people decided that they will withdraw from the European community. They were called the Brexit. So that is very fresh in our memories. But recently, the people in Catalonia also pursued a referendum to decide whether they would become independent or remain part of Spain. In 2014, the Scottish people, the people of Scotland, they also conducted a referendum where it was kind of 50-50. I talked to a gentleman from Scotland the other day and told me that about 50% of people, in 2014 actually voted whether or not they would remain part of the United Kingdom. But that when the United Kingdom withdrew from the European Union, so many people in Scotland now felt like, they would want to be independent because they wanted to remain part of the United Kingdom on conditions sine qua non that the United Kingdom is part of the European community. But now that the United Kingdom has voted to withdraw from the European community, now many people are considering, becoming independent in Scotland. By the same token, because the people of Southern Cameroon, we are former British, colony, I think that we are on the verge of doing the right things in history by copying good examples, even from our former colonial masters. And that's why I talk about the Magna Carta, or the Charter of Liberty, the Charter of Freedom that, was written in 1612, enforcing, the King of England at the time, that they should operate and lead under the rule of law, because the king, the whole notion about the divine right of king, in which the king was above the rule of law, pre-existed the Magna Carta. So when the Magna Carta came into existence, now, the elite at the time, the powerful people and the scholars, and the bourgeoisies and the people who you could call them the movers and shakers, they then put pressure on the monarchy and on the king. So the king accepted, to adhere, to a series, of liberties that were enshrined into what then famously became known as the Magna Carta, the British Magna Carta. And it is also stated that the founding generation, or the founding father of the United States, the founding fathers of the United States, were inspired by, the British Charter of Liberty, because it was a symbol of freedom, a symbol of justice, a symbol of self-evident truth, because it articulated the whole notion, the whole idea that natural rights come from God, and that as human beings we are born and endowed right from birth with inherent and inalienable rights, which is exactly what inspired the Declaration of Independence 1776. We hold this truth to be self-evident that all men and all women, all girls and boys and children are born and endowed with inherent and inalienable rights, among which is life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. The founding generation, they studied the British Magna Carta, the British system. It was the foundation, the fundamental philosophy upon which the British system of common law was founded, inspired by the Magna Carta, and it has also contributed a great deal, in shaping, the United States, Declaration of Independence, as well as, the common law system in the United States. There are two systems: the civil law and the common law. And wherever you have the common law, know that it has been shaped and influenced by the British Magna Carta, or the British legal system. We, the people of Southern Cameroon, the former British Cameroon, that is what the lawyers have been saying. The lawyers have been talking about the common law system that defines, any group of people who identify with the British heritage, the British culture, the Anglo-Saxon, the whole idea that we are descendants of the British heritage. But it is not always going to be possible if we are coexisting with people who have a different mentality, different mindset, a different heritage. And that's why we're constantly at daggers drawn, with French Cameroon, because they are descendants of the French system. That is not necessary, it does not necessarily resonate with the British Magna Carta. Just to put it in short and simple. So this is just so that you understand why it's so important for us to stand our ground and to be firm on this principle, this whole idea about self-determination. Self-determination has been around for a long time. The founding generation of the United States were inspired with the whole notion about self-determination. They stood up and they tap into that positive energy from the British system, and they founded this great nation, this great civilization that is a great admiration and a blessing to humankind. The people of Southern Cameroons must remain firm, must stand firm. We are copying good example. We are looking into the referendum that was conducted in the United Kingdom, and we are asking our people, we are asking the international community that they should support us so that we should also conduct a referendum among ourselves, the people of Southern Cameroon, to determine our destiny. We will decide whether we want to remain with La Republic or we will want to withdraw and become independent, or we want to be restored to the former two-state federation that was sanctioned by UN Resolution 1608 of April 21st, 1961. Like I said, that if you look at this whole idea about referendum, there is a historical precedent. Again, the common law system is based on this notion of precedent. It means that judges, upon deciding cases in the court of law, that's when they come to rulings, they look at previous cases. They look at the precedent that have been set by previous cases in order to determine the ruling and the outcome of current and present cases. So why is it that we are advocating for referendum or a plebiscite? It's because that has always been the mechanism through which, we have resolved any issue with regards to our relationship with La Republique. In 1961, 11th of February 1961, a referendum was conducted by the United Nations where we decided whether we wanted to leave Nigeria or stay with Nigeria. Of course, we voted to walk out of Nigeria. And then the UN went ahead and issued a resolution 1608, number 5, in which in the same year, but this time around in April, asking us that the government of La Republique and the government of Southern Cameroon should come together to figure out what kind of union, what kind of relationship, or what kind of partnership that they will have. And so our leaders at the time decided that, well, we want to join you, we want to have a marriage with you, but it would be a joining on condition that we become two separate federal status or structures. A federal structure based on two status, which means that it's like living in the same house with two apartments, where La Republique had their own apartment, we, Anglophones of Southern Cameroon, had our own apartment, and then we shared the living space under, a federal political system. So what has happened down the road is that by 1972, La Republique grossly violated that resolution 1608 and superimpose, themselves upon our sovereignty. So in other words, it's a gross violation of our sovereign right as a people. So we're going back to United Nations and say, hey, look at what happened here. Did you sanction the 1972 plebiscite that was orchestrated and, imposed upon the people of Southern Cameroon by La Republic? If you did not, then please give us another chance. That's all. We are peaceful people. When we say that the people of Southern Cameroon are peace-loving people, we mean it. We mean what we say. We have to make sure that the United Nations, the international community understand. Like I said, the whole notion about referendum would have a universal appeal. It's very easy for us to reach out, to talk to people. And this is what, we should focus on right now. To give the chance to every Southern Cameroonian, every Anglophone of any shades of political opinion to come on board, to come and vote yes or no, whether we want to remain with La Republic or want to leave. If you're on the other side of the political spectrum, you need not worry. In fact, we should be excited that, we should be excited about what is happening. That we have an opportunity again in history to shape our own destiny. To be inspired by the British Magna Carta, to be inspired by the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, to be inspired by the Declaration of Independence by the Americans or by the founding fathers in 1776. That we have an opportunity for us to also write our own history, write our own declaration, that we embody and we reflect our own natural rights. The foundational ideas that influence the Declaration of Independence is what has made this nation to be such a great nation. And I'm sure that so many people in this country, they care deeply about the world in which they live in. And sometimes they wonder why we're not tapping into that energy. So, but it is up to us to make a case, to let the world know that we are educated, that we are enlightened, that we are excited, that we are inspired, that we are motivated. Yeah, it doesn't mind. It doesn't matter whether we're overzealous. But the passion that we bring must be constructive. A passion itself that should resonate with what other people have done in the past, to follow due process, to make sure that we are diplomatic, make sure that we are very constructive, and make sure that we are also following due process. Again, my brothers and sisters of Southern Cameroon, and if you are listening to this audio, please, I just want to thank you again for giving me the opportunity to say this. You have any question, always direct to me and to another person. Again, this is the Southern Cameroonian, coalition for a referendum. We believe that referendum is a good place for us to start. It is us, the people of Southern Cameroon, who are demanding a referendum and calling upon the United Nations to supervise the referendum. It is us, the people of Southern Cameroon, that have to go out and make the diplomatic case to the United States, to Canada, to Britain, to France, Germany, to all these countries, and member countries of the United Nations. It is us that will have to connect with the international society, human rights organization, to churches. It is us that have to make the case within Southern Cameroon. We have to educate our people, sensitize them, empower them, and make sure they understand that every person, every son and daughter of Southern Cameroon has a right to cast a vote in which we will all determine our destiny. That vote may be yes or no, but let us give that chance to everybody. But even before we get to that level, it is incumbent upon us. It is our responsibility, a profound moral responsibility, to educate our people so that they know what they are doing. Many of you ask questions, and I'll be addressing those questions, with time, because I want to keep this really brief. I know this has been a very much longer, video. I didn't want to go this far, but, I had to do this to explain a lot of things. So thank you again, and God bless you. And this is your brother Jonathan, Awasom.